I Run on Spare Parts is a podcast that explores the powerful world of organ transplants through real stories, real people, and real hope. Each episode dives deep into the human side of medicine, celebrating survival, second chances, and the connections that make life possible. From donors to recipients, families to medical professionals, every voice reminds us what it means to truly live and to keep running on spare parts.
Welcome back to the I Run on Spare Parts podcast. I'm Milagro.
And my name is Terrence.
Is it really Terrence?
Yeah, it's Terrence.
Oh, okay. And so,
I don't know what I was saying.
I don't know.
Sorry. Yeah.
Musicals like me, you never know.
No, I hate musicals. I'm sorry. Sorry.
So today we're going to talk about dialysis and our experiences with dialysis and what made us choose the route that we went. I meant to say went. I personally did home hemodialysis. Terrence, what did you do?
I did hemodialysis in the clinic.
He was in the center. He was trapped. I'm just kidding. It's not a trap.
Kind of. But anyway.
I won't say I enjoyed, but doing dialysis for me at home was liberating because one, I can do it at whatever time. Like I said, I would do mine after I got off work. Mm-hmm. I also enjoyed the fact that it gave me more freedom. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I said that I was a fluid abuser, which means that I drank a lot of water, even though I wasn't supposed to drink a lot of water. I was still urinating though. Maybe not taking out all toxins, but I was still urinating.
Right. So you didn't come in overweight most of the time?
No, not at all. I would weigh myself before, and the most I think I've ever taken off at home would have been 2.5 liters.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good.
But I was doing it 5 days a week though.
Oh, well.
See what I'm saying?
Maybe that wasn't so good.
You see what I'm saying? I had to do it 5 days a week. That was a trade-off. Whereas when you go to the center, how many days do you do it?
3 days.
3 days a week. So
about 4 hours a day.
I only had to do mine 2.5 hours.
See,
it was what
you could have watched the movie and been done.
I did watch movies. I
had to watch 3 movies before I was done.
I watched movies. I had my heated blanket because dialysis pulls all your blood out. Mm-hmm. And when you do hemodialysis, let me correct you there. Mm-hmm. Let me correct myself. When you do hemodialysis, what happens? And I did mine with a device called Next Stage. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like maybe the size of the table, and it's like not big at all.
Right.
I mean, it's
like the size of about a travel suitcase. It's kind of like
a small travel suitcase.
Yes.
Like I would say the size of like a large microwave.
Okay. All right.
And then you have the chest that you put your dialysate in, which it makes dialysate. I can't remember how I made my dialysate, but I made my dialysate. It would come in a bag, and I would put it down in the chester, and then on the top part is where I would have my cartridge. Then I'd open the machine, put the cartridge in there, put in my settings. Now, oh my gosh, they have this really cool where it's pretty much all automated. Like with Next Stage, it's like all automated. It's so cool. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was like, dang, mine wasn't even that cool.
Right.
But
I was coming up with something better.
Mm-hmm. But I did enjoy the fact that it gave me more freedom.
Right.
Did I enjoy dialysis? No. But I enjoyed the fact that I had more freedom. I didn't have to stay at a center for 4 hours. Mm-hmm. I liked the fact that I was in the comfort of my own home. I was actually doing dialysis in my bed because it was right next to my bed. So I would just hook up. Now, there are some things like, you can have pets, but not in the room while you're doing it. And you definitely couldn't have no cat because cats carry other diseases that can make you really, really sick.
Correct.
But I did enjoy the fact that I did have that freedom. Of course, when you do hemodialysis, you have to have a fistula or a graft. And that is something that they put into your arm several months before you have to do dialysis so that it has a chance to mature. In the last episode, I told you I had mine from 2016 to 2020. So I'd had mine for 4 years before I even had to use it. And then once I did have to use it, it still was acting up.
Wow.
It's sometimes things happen. I'm special. I do know that. My experience, I can remember going to the center because you still go to the center for the first few times. Your
Right.
nurse has to come and check your house. They have to make sure that you have proper water supply. You have to have just a lot of things to make sure that you're able to actually do dialysis at home before they can release you to do dialysis at home. Whereas what happened with you, like at the center, you just go in, tell them about center life, and then I'll get back to.
Yeah. So going into the center, I would say it's a lot more restrictive because I think the first time I was on dialysis, I was 3.5 hours. Yeah. So I think they changed it for everybody to do 4 hours this last time. So they have two different types of shifts, so to speak.
So can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Why did you have to do 4 hours?
Because of the state of the clearance that had to be before you actually you considered your blood clean. You were a liquid abuser.
Yeah, fluid abuse.
I was a tomato abuser, and
Was bad.
potassium was always bad, so they had to, get my potassium. The stuff that's good for it. It's potassium. So but see, because phosphorus doesn't even come out through dialysis. You have to take binders, and I was bad. Yeah, I was bad on with the binders too, because I like peanut butter, peanuts, almonds, all types of nuts, and they're like really high in phosphorus. I didn't have much of a problem with the dark colas because I pretty much stopped drinking colas while I was on dialysis.
You know what my nephrologist told me?
What was that?
He was like, dark sodas keep them in business.
For sure. And there's a lot of things that we're going to talk about, especially about processed food, that keep you in business. But so I was on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay.
You either on Monday, when you go into the center, you either on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And the thing about Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is typically, I will say it like this, but for the center I went to, there was no late shift. And I still work, so I didn't go to dialysis until after work. And that was kind of, I would say, a crutch, because my wife and I would like to do things together. We like to shop together. We like to go out to eat. And no Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. No Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays could we ever do anything.
But you had to be there for 4 hours.
Right, for 4 hours after work. So that means if I got there on time, and got put on the machine right on time, I wasn't leaving until 9 o'clock. If I was a few minutes late, then that means I'm probably closer to 10 o'clock before I get ready to leave. And then, one of the things about being in the center is that they have to make sure that your blood pressure is stable, because taking off that amount of fluid, or whatever the amount of fluid they have to take off, causes your blood pressure to drop. So you don't want to get out and drive when your blood pressure is about to pass out. By the other bit of stuff.
Well, I have a story about that.
I do too. I got plenty of stories about fluid overload and. Anyway, but the very first time, and it's not saying first time, we hadn't got to about my second episode, but my first time on dialysis, I was still urinating as well. So I never really came in over my fluid weight.
Dry weight.
Yeah, over my dry weight. That's the correct term, my dry weight. But I wasn't really a fluid abuser.
I was.
But I did like to drink. And my biggest thing is going out to eat. Going out to eat was tough because I would always, whatever day I went out to eat, I had more fluid on than I should have. The next day, the Friday, 10 dialysis. And oh God, if I went out to eat on a Saturday, like I said, on Friday, we couldn't do anything. So my Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays were pretty much a wrap. It was just like I was going to go to work, go to dialysis, go home. Go to work, go to dialysis, go home. And the thing about that is that when you go to dialysis 3 days a week, a lot of times, like I said, you're regulating your blood pressures off whack. So it probably takes you a whole day to recover. By the time you recover, guess what? You got to go back to dialysis.
Yeah.
So I would look forward to Friday because I would recover on Saturday and do stuff on Sunday. And that's not the best way to live. I will say, I did learn my body during the process. this young lady is watching this podcast because she commented on one of our TikTok. Yeah, she stated that she feels really bad after dialysis, and she was not really given any solutions to why. And it's funny because like I said before on one of my posts, I said be careful about listening to people who post on your page or these self-proclaimed gurus because they don't know your body. Mm-hmm. And my advice to her was just continue to talk to a doctor to figure out what's going on. And that's what I had to do. I eventually began to feel a little bit better doing dialysis after my dialysis. And the next day I could run or I could walk several miles. But I adjusted my diet, I adjusted my fluid intake. Mm-hmm. I became a little bit more disciplined. If you haven't followed me or followed Millie, please do. And
you can find me on.
Say what now?
You can find me on TikTok.
I don't know what's my handle. I think it's T Williams 730.
Enthusiast, but you can find me on I run those spare parts.
You get.
I watch them.
And if you can make a comment to me as well on I run on spare parts and you looking out or Beyond the Machine. It's not out yet, but
it's about to be.
It's about to be. Yeah, she's gonna make me do it anyway. Yeah. So her question was, "What do I do?" And she said she felt like mentally she was going crazy, and I was like, "No, you're not alone." Because number one, when you're going through this, it's a big change. It's a big process. And, but settle in and try to follow as much as the doctor is telling you to follow, as you can.
Keep it up with your levels too, because a lot of times they could be taking off too much fluid.
It could be.
And when they take off too much fluid, it definitely tends to drop your blood pressure. So like you were saying, I was at home and you had people at the center to help you, right?
Right. And that was the and see the other thing that you said that I liked about the reason why I chose going to the center is number one, my folks are kind of people that I live in the house with. They don't like medical stuff at all. They don't like blood, none of that stuff. They don't like to see me. And with me, because I've gone through so much stuff, it's just second nature. They're gonna take blood, so they just take it.
Right.
We're gonna get so it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers them.
Right.
But that was one reason why I didn't go home. I didn't do the home dialysis. The other reason is I know me, because unlike probably like Millie, I probably felt like not doing it is more than I felt like doing it. So I feel like it kept me accountable. And I understood the risk. I understood the benefit of doing it every day versus doing it. But with me, I just made sure I stayed under my water weight as much as possible. Make sure so I didn't get any fluid overload. And that didn't always happen, by the way. So I would always say make the best choice for you that you can make.
Now, no, it's not just hemodialysis. You can do peritoneal dialysis too.
Correct.
Which has no needle whatsoever.
Correct.
What happens is they put a catheter into the peritoneum, which is
all right.
I don't know why you did that.
I don't know why I made it either, because I don't know if it's.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like me personally, I was like, I'm not doing peritoneal dialysis because I don't want a penis sticking out of my stomach. That's what I looked at.
That's funny. That's not really funny, but I'm just saying I can understand it.
I honestly do not want anybody who's doing peritoneal dialysis to feel any type of way, because people pick what's best for them.
Correct.
And for me, hemodialysis was what's best for me. I heard that a lot of people tend to get infections, and I was just like, I knew myself. I was vain. I honestly was already I told y'all last time, I felt like my arm looked like a railroad track was on it. So I'm not going to sit here and do
something that make you look worse.
Something that made me feel worse. And then you have to, so you can do the one by gravity, where it will use gravity to fill up the peritoneal space, and you will let it dwell. Dwell means to let it sit. And it uses the peritoneum to clear the toxins out into the dialysate fluid. How they figured this out, only science knows. Yeah. Thank God for people who are smart. I'm not saying I'm dumb, but I'm just saying, like, who are smarter than me. And then after a certain amount of time, you would release that fluid. and it would drain out. Or you can do the machine, which you also do at home. And then with the machine, it actually does, you can do it at night. You hook it up, it'll infuse the fluid, it lets it dwell, and then it removes it. I won't want to say suck it out, but it pulls it out like how it should. And then you wake up, you unhook, you go about your day. Some people tend to love that. I have heard about a lot of people really liking that option because they have the same freedom that I had doing hemodialysis.
Right.
I did hemo because for me, it gave me the freedom that I wanted. I didn't have a problem with sticking myself. And I like the fact that the fistula was okay. I had a problem with sticking myself. I like that.
No. I didn't look because that was the reason I didn't get to, but that was the biggest reason. Couldn't see myself inflicting harm on myself and on purpose.
Like inflicting harm. It was not inflicting harm. It was for your own good. It was for your own health.
Okay.
It was for your own benefit. And so that's what I looked at. Like, look, if you don't do this, you're gonna build up enough toxins in your body. And if you don't take it off, you're gonna die.
So she's absolutely right. And most people could just say, "Oh yeah, that's right," and stick themselves. I'm the one that was like, "You stick me. I ain't about to stick my own self." And so
I'm gonna tell you the truth. They had to stick me because I was like, that every time I told them, they'd be like,
every time
today, I'd be like, no.
Yeah, every time I thought about it, I'm like,
Then like tomorrow.
If I do it at home, I have to train somebody in my house to come stick me because it's like, and then they ain't gonna be able to do it. So it's gonna be.
I was like, look, if you really want to do home hemo, then I'll help put you on the machine.
Well, yeah.
And he was like, I don't think I want to do it. I'm scared. He wasn't like he was scared, but he was just like, I don't think I want to do it.
I still couldn't see myself.
I mean, I was able to travel.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to do a lot more, I feel like. And like I said, when you do, we don't talk a lot about peritoneal dialysis, but when you do that, you have more freedom. You don't have to be tied to the machine as much. And I cannot wait for your podcast Beyond the Machine, because then you talk about like what it's like, life is like away from the machine.
Correct.
And for me, sometimes I think that when you're on dialysis, it's such a stump in your life.
It is.
Where you're like,
it is. And I did
have to go and do this. If I don't do this, I'm not going to feel well.
And I did go to school. I was actually, when I found out I had kidney failure, I started my first week of my master's. That was great. So I was doing a master's. I was doing my master's in education. And then the next week, after my first week of class,
I was on
dialysis. So I had to.
Not me. I wasn't like that.
I had to go to class at dialysis a lot of times, and I had to turn in work while I was at dialysis a lot of times, and it was tough, but I got through with the help of my support system. I got through it, and a lot of the and one thing that we don't do, sometimes we talk about the frustrations with dialysis. One of the things that I like to mention is that we had a great group of
nurses and techs. Like I said, I did have to start out in the center.
In the center, right? So they always joked on me.
They never let me come into the side with the people doing dialysis, even though I was doing dialysis. I just had to go to the
other side.
They wouldn't even let me go in there and see Terrence when he'd be over there. They'd be like,
right. And it was funny because when she started getting prepared for dialysis at home, we just happened to show up at the same time.
And I still couldn't see them. They're like, you need to go over there. I'm like, we can't speak. We know each other out for here. But by the time I would be done, and he would still be on the machine.
That was the part. It's kind of that'll get to you mentally if you allow it. A lot of times, one of the things and I was glad this happened. I started becoming an avid reader kind of late in life because. And I always talk to my students. I'm like, I didn't like to read when I was in school, honestly, in high school. I read by default, or under protest, rather, because I had to.
Under duress.
Yeah, under duress. Because I had to. But after that, I realized that reading is very important. So I became a researcher, and so I love to read. So a lot of the times that I spent at dialysis was actually doing research.
Wow.
So
when I would do dialysis at home, well, okay, let me go back. So I started, like you said, at the center. and we would do dialysis. And my first couple of times cannulating, which is what it's called, you have to cannulate yourself. They use a sharp needle because they're trying to create something called a buttonhole, where you can use a buttonhole needle, which is a dull needle, which does not have the point on it. Unfortunately, I was not so lucky. I never, ever developed a buttonhole.
Right.
I had to use a sharp needle every single time for the whole time that I was doing dialysis. I was like, what in the world? Because I had to keep moving the spots where I would cannulate. So I never had like a set spot because of the way my fistula is set up. But it was just like, hey, I don't want to use this sharp needle every time.
Yeah, I see that. See, that's the part that I can imagine. And that's one of the things they tell me, Mr. Williams, we're going to help you develop
A buttonhole.
a buttonhole. I'm like, I don't get it. Looks every time. I'm like, that's don't sound right. Don't sound right at all. Thankfully and gratefully, I think we both experienced being able to get on a transplant list quicker than a lot of people that we've heard about, and some people that we know that some of them are still waiting to receive kidney transplants. And we're always grateful and thankful, but we also pray for those that they will get their opportunity as well to actually get out of the center and
Get off dialysis period.
get off dialysis period and be able to.
Thing about that, I just want to plug being a living donor. It is something that is highly needed. It is something that many people like. There's a lot of myths about being a donor, and that's one of the episodes that we're going to talk about is transplantation, what it takes, how to be a living donor if that's something that you so choose to do. It's definitely very rewarding. I met a young lady who actually donated her spare. She said, I donated my spare. I was like, oh my gosh, I have a thing that says I have one of those spare parts. And she donated her spare to her dad. And so she was living a great life with her one kidney. So I think that that's one of the things that people forget about, but we're getting off topic. We're supposed to be talking about dialysis.
No, I don't know. That's really key though when we're talking about dialysis, because one of the things I like to bring up is that if you embrace the situation that you're in and you begin to do what you need to do and listen to your techs and your doctors tell you, hey, you got on too much fluid, you're doing something different. Hey, stop eating this because it's affecting your numbers.
Your labs.
Yeah, your labs. And it's all about balance. I did a topic where where restriction is not what is it? Balance is not restriction. Balance is actually power. In everything that you do, you need balance. You need to have a balanced lifestyle, and this is one of them. One of the things that I learned is that I think we talked about earlier about being foodies, like liking food.
You love food.
And we could
Still love food.
I do too. However, I've learned to balance that out a little bit more than I did in the past, because, in the past, like I said, when you're younger, you think you're invincible and all these other things. Oh, that's somebody else that's going to happen to. It's never going to happen. And when it does, you realize, man, I should have been a little bit more balanced. So
Let's talk a lot more about what I had going on.
correct. And that was one of the things that I enjoyed. But getting back to dialysis, do you have any thing you wish you had done a little bit differently?
No.
No.
Okay. I'm gonna stop. Okay. So for me, I said that a lot. For me, who else is it gonna be for?
Everybody that's listening.
When I was doing whole hemodialysis, like I said, I had a story about like your blood pressure. I did what they call solo, which is it's now called solo. But before they was like, oh, you have to have a partner. You cannot do it at home by yourself. And I was like, I'm going to do it at home by myself because I got, like he said, everybody else was like, they're not really medical-ish and they don't really like the sight of blood. And when you're doing home hemodialysis, all your blood is being taken out of your body and filtered through this machine, and then it's put in back into your body. So you see these big bloodlines, and they're clear tubes. It's just clear tubes of blood, and they go like
And you see him going in the machine and coming back out into your arm.
And then you have to have your dialysate set at a certain temperature so that it doesn't like give you cold shock and things like that, because all that is possible to happen. And I was on the machine, and at this time my son was, I can't remember how old he was. He was, wow.
That sounds about right.
I think he was 12.
Yeah.
He was 12, and I was on the machine. And we have something called saline rinse back, because if your blood pressure gets too low, then you're supposed to start giving yourself some saline,
Right.
which is basically salt water, so that you get your blood pressure to go back up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing that, or so I thought. So I'm on the machine, and I'm getting close to getting off the machine. And the more I take my blood pressure, the lower the blood pressure keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, it was like 90 over 50 one time. It was low.
Yeah, you about to call for.
See, so what had happened was, I was getting off the machine, and I got off the machine, and I think my blood pressure was maybe like 100 over 60 when I got off the machine.
So,
it was extremely low because it passed out. And now I couldn't do anything after that. Like, I didn't take off too much fluid, because I had put in how much my dry weight was, how much how much fluid I had gained over that, because you have to do your weight before, and then you do your little calculations, and you put that into the machine. It tells you how much to take off, how much fluid to take off, because your kidneys aren't working anymore. So it doesn't do it.
right.
And I rinsed back enough saline, and I added a little bit more. And so I took the needles out, and I couldn't do nothing.
Wow.
I had unhooked all the, and honestly, I was on my bed, and I wound up having to call my son, and he had to help me take my needles, because I physically could not do
it. Right.
Like, my blood pressure was because when I checked my blood pressure, it was in the toilet. And then I told them at the center, I was like, I got to get up. And they were like, well, why didn't you rinse back some more saline?
Yeah, see, you don't.
Like, you could have hooked back up and put some more saline. I'm like, you're not thinking about that.
You're not. Right.
You're like, I'm not.
Right. You're definitely not thinking about certain things that, and I would hate to be in that situation at home.
Yeah.
And the thing of it is,
my needles out at 12 years old. My needles out. He held the spot for 10 minutes for me, and he was like, "Don't worry about it, Mom. I got you." If I wasn't passed out already on the bed, it was like, you get to beyond, because he's 12 years old. You don't expect him to be able to do something like so adult like that. But he wants to be a surgeon now.
Oh wow. Awesome.
Actually, he wants to be orthodontist. Change his mind.
Oh, he changed his mind again? Well, hey, he's probably going to change it again, too. But yeah, because that's what we are there, especially guys. I know we don't think out. Yeah. No, that is a great story. Now, my blood pressure story is a little bit different.
Oh, no.
So my nurse is a short person. I'm not going to call her name, but she's short.
She's short.
And she told me, she said, don't you get up too fast. She said, because if you fall, I ain't going to be able to help you. She was joking. She helped me out. So guess what happened?
You fell forward.
No, I got up too fast and started falling forward. And guess what she did?
Push you back in the chair.
Pushed me right back.
Because that's what I would do.
She pushed me right back in the chair. And she's looking at me. She was like, you don't listen. I said, I didn't know I was feeling bad. I didn't start. And that's the thing. When you're at the center doing dialysis, you have a lot of help. And
that is
now things can still go bad.
Of course.
But you have a lot of help with the people around you. So you have to pay attention and do exactly what they tell you to do. So the first thing I did, because I thought I felt good, I just jumped up out the chair.
No, you have something called orthostatic blood pressure. Like, when you stand up, your blood pressure goes down.
And mine went down fast. I'm talking about like it went downhill. Like it was going.
Yeah.
And I can laugh at it now, but when it happened, it wasn't funny.
It was scary.
Yeah, it's absolutely scary. I thought I was about to die.
Yeah.
And because it's like, do I want to tell them about this episode? Do I want to tell them about the GI bleed? I don't tell them.
Round there.
Okay.
It was just hard.
All right. So, yeah, but anyway, so, that might be a Beyond the Machine thing. Huh?
Yeah, we could definitely do that on the Beyond, because we're going to force him to do the Beyond the Machine.
Yeah, all right. What happened was, it's just like, the only way I can describe it, I'll describe it like this. I played football, maybe not football. I think that was my last long time ago. I was 14, and then I'm like, how old am I now? Like 53 now.
I ain't gonna do you like Kevin Hart.
He definitely do like Kevin. Okay.
I can see you like Kevin Hart.
Look to my how he did
Don Cheadle.
I thought you were going to say how he did oh God, what's his name? LeBron James talking about they want somebody who can run the 40. They don't want nobody that's 40 playing for them.
Not even that. But you had told him how old he was. I was like, oh man,
look that up now.
You have to look it up. I'm not. I just shout out to Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna do you like that.
Yeah.
Tell him how you was running up and down.
Oh, okay. So this is what happened. So I was a pretty good football player, but I was really light. I probably weighed about 120 pounds.
That's
in the ninth grade.
real thin.
Now I was really light. So playing, and they stick me on the suicide. Those who know football probably know what that means.
I don't.
They go across the middle. That's where everybody is, by the way. And so I told my quarterback, I was like, "You look, don't throw it in the air. Just throw it. I did it, but don't throw it up in the air to make me have to jump." Guess what he did?
Up in the air.
He threw it in the air and I had to jump. And I was going to jump and get it. I was not going to miss the pass. So I jumped, caught it, and the next thing I saw was the helmet. No, right? Just hit the helmet like head on. So I probably had a concussion. This was before we had concussion protocols and all this other good stuff. They just told you to rub some dirt on it or shake your head and spit or whatever, and you'll be all right,
So you might have a little bit of brain damage.
Yeah, might have a little bit. But anyway, I held onto the ball, I jumped, and this is how fast I ready. It looked like the ground jumped up and hit me in the face. That's that's the only way I can describe it. I was like, oh shoot. It's like, how did the ground jump up and hit me in the face?
How you gonna let the ground hit you like that?
No, right?
The ground came for you.
Yeah. So, and when I tell that story, people laugh like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, that's how fast I fell." After I jumped up. I had to have been concussed because the next thing I remember, I was sitting on the sideline contemplating my whole life, and I think that might have been the last day I played. Yeah, might have been. But anyway, I'm not sure. I think I came back to practice for the next week.
And how did that correlate to your dialysis experience?
Now, how that correlated to my dialysis experience is that's how it felt when I jumped up out of the chair. I was going to hit my nurse. It was no coming back from that. Yeah, I jumped up and I started falling forward, and she saw me and she was like, pushed me right in the chair. And I was like, after I came back through, I was like, how did you do that? She said, I'm trained. I said, okay, I'm glad you were.
Because somebody had to be trained because clearly, Yeah,
clearly I was following directions because she told me to, all right, take it easy. Yeah, get up slow.
Because like I said, your blood pressure will definitely drop.
It is. And
especially after you get off that machine and then they have to weigh you to make sure that you're back to your
dry weight. And the other thing is they want you to really walk too, just to make sure that everything is good. And
they send you out to drive.
Yeah. And I drove both. During bit of time that I was in, and I call it a little bit of time that I was in dialysis, although it felt like it was forever. It felt like it was never ending. When you hear stories of people that's been on dialysis for.
I met somebody who had been on dialysis this past weekend for 28 years.
Right.
I wish I could remember her name, but she was on dialysis for 20. She's still on dialysis because she's a unique case. They're having a hard time finding her a kidney because she has a lot of different antics.
Right.
But I just pray that she does find a kidney.
Amen.
Because everybody, and she's not sad about it or anything. She's like, I've been doing it, and she's an advocate, and she's definitely somebody that I look up to because, like I said, I was able to find a match, but she hasn't been able to find her match in 28 years.
Right. And I met her.
She does home hemodialysis.
Okay. Yeah, and I met a young lady with the same situation. I want to say she and I are about the same age, and she had been on dialysis since she was like 21 or something like that, 19 or 20. Can't remember the exact age, but it's been a long time. And she looks really good, by the way. I mean, she doesn't, with me, I can give you example. of me, my skin started to change a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I started to get kind of like dry patches everywhere. She didn't have that. She looked really good. And I asked her, I said, what are you doing? And she was just like, oh, I just listen to my doctors and tell. And very vibrant, never looked, and the times that I saw her in dialysis, and most of the time she would leave before I did. When she left, she never seemed weak at all. She would get up, grab her stuff, go, and I was like, it takes me forever. It takes me, not forever, but it takes me to do what she was doing, just get up and get out of the chair and go.
Right.
And
some people, they do better because they are doing what they're supposed to do.
Right.
And I think that a lot of times, if you're following your proper diet, if following the fluid regimen that they tell you to be on, where they're not having to take off so much fluid.
Correct.
All those things make a difference.
Make a big difference.
And at the end of the day, when you're like you said, in balance or being compliant, it makes it 10 times better.
Right.
I actually had to start keeping like pickles next to my bed. I kept pickles. Well, for cramps and so that I'd have the salt, I would drink like pickle juice.
Right.
I'll just have pickles by my bed. Like every time I would do dialysis, I'd be like, bring me a pickle. I think that's why I like pickles so much now. I'd have me a pickle spear and I would be good. Like, especially like right after dialysis, I'd have me a pickle spear. And
you do crave that salt though. You do crave that. Yeah. Right. Right. And it's really, to clean the blood, they really strip you of everything. You really have to put it back. And one of the things that I learned to do is that my next meal after dialysis was something that was high in vitamins, high in minerals, without going over into over the potassium and the phosphorus and things like that. So I would find something that I knew that would have enough sodium, enough magnesium, and enough of these other things that we need in it naturally to eat, and that started making me feel a little bit better. Yeah, as well.
How often did you have to do your blood work? Because I know me, I had to send my blood work off. Now you at the center, they would draw your blood and send it.
Right.
I had to do it myself. I had to draw my blood when it was time and wrap it up and put it in the container and send it so that they could have my blood work. And like, I always got smiley on all of my, because I was doing what I was supposed to do. I think that's only one time I got like a yellow face.
Now, during my first stint in dialysis, I until I figured out what was going on with me, because remember, all this was hitting me. Like, I went from playing basketball one weekend to Monday being in the center doing dialysis with a PICC line in my neck.
Oh yeah,
and so it was kind of tough for me, because I was still going through the mental anguish of, dang, I'm on dialysis. So I went through that process. Comes to grief. This is something you're going to have to do to stay alive. And when I left the center, I get compliant right away. One, not because I was just hard-headed, but one is because I hadn't really learned everything I need to learn about it first. And so I think I'll be doing good and find out you're doing bad. Like, for instance, I thought maybe, man, I'm going to start eating green leafy vegetables. I'm going to start doing eating salads and all this other good stuff. Yeah, you see how she's turning her face up now? Because all that stuff is high in potassium. Although if you don't have a kidney issue,
that's fine.
It's fine. But because I had a kidney issue, I was eating cleaner than ever, but I was at the same time killing myself. I never forget it. After dialysis, one Friday, Saturday, I think they did my blood work for something. I can't remember what it was.
It was off the charts.
Oh my goodness. I was outside cleaning up, and the nurse called me. I'm like, what did she call me for on Saturday? What did I do? So I answered the phone. They said, she said, Mr. Williams. I said, I'm cleaning out my garage. She said, I feel great. She said, your chest not hurting, you're not sweating, you're not sweating profusely.
I feel fine.
I feel good. She said, okay, I need you to go and sit down somewhere. She said, because your potassium is I was like, wow. She said, we was about to call you. She said, I'm not going to let you do it this time. She said, but I was about to tell you to go straight to the emergency room because of how high your potassium is. But it seems as if you're doing, I was like, wait a minute, do I need to go to the emergency room? And she was like, no. She said, I'm not going to make you go to the
dysrhythmia.
Yeah. So she said, just if you have any issues, start feeling, lightheaded. If you start doing, I was like, man, I went in there and sat down. I was like, man, y'all in the garage. I'm going to sit down somewhere.
Exactly.
And,
that all day.
No, seriously. But it could happen.
It does.
And that's what happened. A lot of patients. That's why I say, make sure you listen to your doctors, you take care of yourself, because you can't eat clean. And this is something I was talking to somebody about just the other day. You can't eat to do the job of the kidney.
No.
It's
why they're
so even if you a very clean diet, your kidney still functions to get rid of waste, because you cause waste just by metabolizing. And so, so the natural process of you living causes waste that the kidneys have to get rid of.
That's true.
And so when I learned that, I was like, okay, so I need to be a lot better at what I'm doing. Although I thought I was doing something that was.
I understand. So in conclusion, I did home hemo. I did well with it. I can't say I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed the freedom that Terrence did center dialysis, hemodialysis.
Right.
But there's also peritoneal dialysis that you can do as well. If you would like any further information on the types of different dialysis, you can always look at the National Kidney Foundation. They have tons of information. The Georgia Transplant, well, not scratch that. But you can look at Georgia Transplant, because guess what? You too will be looking for transplantation. So that's another good website.
Right.
But the American Kidney Fund
Yeah.
also has good information. But for sure, the National Kidney Foundation has a lot of information on like high blood pressure in your kidneys, peritoneal dialysis, and also hemodialysis. If there are any questions that you have about what we went through, or you just want to talk to us, you can definitely place a comment down on our TikTok page, our YouTube page. And shortly, I'm going to start flashing our email address. So write us emails, because we don't have no regular physical address, because I'm not putting my address out there.
There we go. Yeah, don't mail us nothing. Don't find my address and mail me something. Please don't. But now, and
I open it.
So yeah, it's probably go straight to trash. But anyway, the other thing that I would say, since you mentioned those two things, if you're going to donate clothes or donate items, please go to your local community center. That what is it called?
Your dialysis center?
No. Where the kidney fund, where the people who have one.
The National Kidney Foundation?
The National Kidney Foundation sometimes have drop-offs. Just what's the other type of people that do drop-offs?
I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So just check your local listings. There are kidney places that if you drop off gently used goods, they resell them, and the funds that they raise go to help people who need those funds or for kidney dialysis, and it also helps pay.
We just want to say thank you for listening to us as we rattle off on our mouths. We hope to see you guys next week. Have a great week. Bye.